This is Kingdom View of Relationship and Marriage series. If God will not allow the Israelites to build the ark anyhow, if He will not allow Noah to build the ark anyhow, then you should know that He will not allow you to build your marriage anyhow. God is a master planner. He has a format for marriage. And until you can discover it from the scripture, your marriage will not work in that pattern. Are you there? You can only use it when you find it. You must find God's pattern for marriage. You must find God's pattern for relationship. When you find it, then you apply it. God will not be happy if you do your relationship anyhow. And you see, an anyhow relationship will lead to an anyhow marriage. So don't do your relationship anyhow. No. Don't. You need to find the pattern from God. How does God want this thing to operate? So when you get an answer to that, it will help you to be able to, flow in the direction of the will of God. Another point here is don't marry anyone who is idle. They may have sweet words. Oh, you are the sugar, you are the honey, you are the biscuit. Don't marry anyone that is idle. In other words, don't marry anybody that is lazy, whether a male or a female. Beware. Beauty is vain. If they don't have anything doing, then they are disqualified for marriage already. Your work is, your work is one of those things that qualifies you for marriage. No matter how poor the income may be, just ensure you are not doing nothing. May ensure you are doing something. No matter how poor or how low the income may be, ensure you are doing something. Be busy doing something. Before God gave Adam, a wife, He had already given him a job. Are you there? Before God gave Adam a wife, God had already given him something to do. So it will mean that if you also do not have something you are doing, then God will not give you a partner. If you ever find a partner when you don't have something you are doing, you found it yourself. It's not God. It's not God. You are the one that did it. That's not God. Because for God to give you a partner, then He will have first given you something to do. If you have nothing doing, then you have nothing to do with relationship and marriage. Anybody can guide you into marriage. All they need do is to give you the best advice that they have. But nobody can choose for you. Choice is personal. Are you there? The responsibility of people is to guide you, not to choose for you. Nobody have the right to say you must marry. No. Nobody have the right to do that. We can only guide you. Just like you are listening to this marriage series now. It's not to force you to marry a particular person, but it's to guide you, to give you certain perspective about marriage and relationship that will be helpful to you. But we cannot force you. People can guide you to choose, but when it is time to choose, you will have to do it alone. Advice is generalized because it can either be utilized or ignored. But nobody is permitted to choose or force others on you. Are you there? So if you discover somebody is forcing someone on you, then just know that is not the will of God. Marriage is not supposed to be forceful. It's supposed to be peaceful, and it's supposed to be done willingly, not forcefully. Another point here is before marriage, anything goes. But in marriage, that changes completely. Even when they know your manners are bad, they won't complain because they know they can't marry you. But this can't happen in marriage. For instance, there are certain bad manners you have before marriage that your partner may not even complain about. The reason he will not complain about this is because he or she knows that they won't end up with you, so they will just leave you to be doing your rubbish. But when you marry, anything does not go. Certain things that are allowed in relationship are not allowed in marriage. You must understand that. Those who are not concerned about how you live your life are not ready to marry you. They only want to use you and dump you. You know you have a weakness that is obvious, and your partner in relationship is not even talking about it. All he or she is concerned about is just what he can get or what she can get. Just know that person is not ready to marry you. Yes. Anybody that is not concerned about how you live your life is not ready to end up with you. One of the things you do in relationship is that you talk to each other. This is not good. Work on this. Work on this. You can be better here. That's what we call relationship. We must understand this. Even when they know you are cheap, they won't complain because they know they can't marry you. And when you tell them about marriage, their response will definitely shock you. There are certain people you are hanging around with now that the reason they are still with you is because you have not spoken to them about marriage. You tell them about marriage and see their reactions. They will not even want to hear. You know why? The problem is the problem is that they are not ready to marry you. That's why you see they are not correcting anything. They are not helping you to work on yourself. How you will know somebody that is heading somewhere with you, that's going somewhere with you, is that they will begin to build values and virtues into you. They will expose you to things that will help you, things that will make you better. If your own partner in relationship is not exposing you to things that can help you grow, help you become better, just know that he or she is wasting your time. Nothing happens without something. When a relationship that should end in marriage suddenly ends before marriage, don't start finding people to blame. Check yourself. It is a great lesson coming in a hard way. Are you there? When you see a relationship that should end in marriage ending before marriage, then something is wrong. Something is wrong. So it is a great lesson, but unfortunately, it has to come in a hard way. So let's watch it. Before you go into marriage, you must ask this from yourself: what am I willing to give up? If you can't let go of something for your marriage, then you don't yet know what it takes to be married. You give up to grow up. Are you there? You give up to grow up. There are certain things you must grow, there are certain things you must give up if you really desire to grow up. So before you go into a relationship, not even married now, before you go to a relationship, ask yourself, what am I willing to give up? Many of us are not growing up because we are not ready to give up anything. Let's take note of that too. And that thing is, marriage is God's mixed school for both sexes in creation. The key to life is relationship. If you cannot relate, then you cannot live life as expected. So life is built on relationship. There are different types of relationship. We have marital relationship and other forms of relationships too. So life is built on relationship. We need to understand that your spouse is God's instrument chosen by you for growth. God had already ordained them for you before you could see and choose them for yourself. Can you see that? So that person you are actually thanking God for. Oh, thank God I married this person. It's not just you not marry right because you just choose out of your will. No. If you marry right, then it will mean that God has helped you. God has guided you. Have been guided by God to that person. Are you there? And that does not mean you should look down on others whose marriage are suffering from different crises. No, no, no. Because what you enjoy in your marriage is by grace. You are not really better than those people that are there, that are facing certain challenge. Are you there? Let's take note of that. As a single, be accountable, because marriage will make you accountable to somebody someday. If you enjoy coming home late as a single, you must surely give an account of that in marriage. Your spouse will surely ask, where are you coming from? In marriage, you must prepare to give an account to God through your fellow humans. So not that when they ask where are you coming from, you say, where do you send me to? Won't I go out? No, that's not the statement of somebody that is accountable. So you must understand that in marriage, you need to be accountable. You will be accountable to God through your partner, whether the male or the female. Another point is your spouse is not an excuse for failure. They are agents of outstanding excellence. So don't begin to use your partner as the reason for your failure. Well, I was unable to do this because of this. No, no. They should not be an excuse for your failure. If truly you have chosen in the will of God, they should be the reason for your encouragement. I hope you get it. Another point is as you journey through marriage, you know, you become better and not bitter. Are you with me? As you journey through marriage, as you begin to get exposed to the experience of marriage, you are expected to get better and not bitter. Marriage is supposed to bring out the better you and not the bitter you. I hope you get what I'm saying. So patience makes it better, while impatience makes it bitter. Patience makes marriage better, while impatience makes marriage bitter. Another point is, now, dear parent, before you go on 100 days fast, please ensure that you have provided enough food for your children. They are not as strong as you, so they don't need to do the same thing you are doing. Don't starve them to death by letting them do what is beyond their ability. You should train them to partake in a profitable and a godly exercise, but it shouldn't be excessive. You can be the Moses and leave them as you know you can be the Moses and leave them as the Joshua. That's fine. Don't kill them, train them. Some parents, they are very spiritual, so when they want to do their 100-day fast, that fast will also affect the children because they are not eating. Somehow there will just be something happening in the family. The children will also suffer from it. No, no, don't don't let your because you are doing 100 days fast. We are not saying you should not train. Nobody is saying you should not train your children to partake in spiritual exercise. Are you there? But you should not place them on the same gauge, on the same level at which you are operating. That can be dangerous to them. They are not as strong as you are. So, for the fact that you are embarking on 100 days fast, does not mean that nobody will cook again in that house. No. Let them still do their normal cooking. If possible, let them do their own little time fast. Maybe they break by 12, while you break maybe 6 or whichever time you want to. Are you there? And if you know they don't even have the capacity to break by 12, maybe they are too small, let them eat their normal food and don't let it affect them. So as they begin to grow, you begin to expose them gradually to the syllabus, to the spiritual syllabus. By so doing, you will raise, you'll be able to raise spiritually sound students. So don't just bring them to your own plane like that. I want to do 100-day fast and I'll be breaking by 6. So everybody in this house will be breaking by 6. No, no, that will affect them. Another point is having common savings in marriage is good, but personal savings should not be discouraged. Having a common savings in marriage is good, but personal savings should not be discouraged. there's something we call joint account with your husband. Well, that's not bad, but at the same time, your personal savings should not also be discouraged. So nobody should come to you and say, don't have any personal savings. All you should do is just joint savings because you are one. You are one. According to the scripture, it is true. They are one. Are you there? But the same way they can do joint savings, nobody should also discourage you from doing personal savings. Are you there? Personal savings for personal needs, joint savings for joint needs. Can you see that they are different? The functions are not the same. Your personal savings for your personal needs, your joint savings for your joint needs. If you understand this, of course, you will enjoy your union. Common needs can be met by common savings, but personal savings is for personal needs. Are you there? Another point is, as your money increases, your savings should also increase. Don't increase your spending immediately your income increases. Things may attract you, but you should not attract things. Pay now and rest later. Save now and use later. Can you see that? Another point is, to be a good husband, you must learn how to listen to your wife. She may talk a lot, and you must also be prepared to listen as much as she talks. If your spouse can talk, then you should listen. Don't be too serious to start seeing your wife as an unserious being when she talks. Even when you have your own, concluded plans, still listen to her. Are you there? Still listen to her. Listening to your partner means a lot to them. It even matters to them more than the gift you buy. Somebody, she's trying to tell you something, she's trying to pour out her heart to you, and you just shut her up. Hey, hey, hey. So you discover she's hungry. You now go out and you bought some things, you now give it to her. She will collect it and say thank you. But she can't appreciate that as much as you giving her freedom to express herself, her thoughts, and her opinions. Another thing to note is that the makeups a woman involves the makeups of a woman involves their peculiarities. It is more than the hairdo, the hairstyle. No, it is an inbuilt nature of the woman. She can cry when she's happy, and she can still cry when she's sad. She can shout when she's happy, and she can still shout when she's sad. She can say no, and that no will mean yes. And she can say yes, and that yes will mean no. So that's not pretense, it's a mood. That can be a mood swing, or whatever they call it. So the makeups of a woman involves their peculiarity. Their makeup shows their features. When I say makeup, what I mean is how God made them. Are you there? The makeup of a woman, I mean how God made them. So the way God made a woman is very different. So there are certain features about them that you cannot interpret directly. For instance, if you are saying something good, you are saying something and you suddenly see her crying. Now you may begin to wonder, why is she crying? Is she sad? Now by the time you now investigate, you will now find out that cry is the best way she can show her happiness. Can you see how funny that is? So that's what the Bible says, we should deal with each other according to knowledge. Don't just jump into relationship or marriage when you don't have knowledge. If you jump in without knowledge, by grace, that is, if God loves you, you can still you will escape. But not everybody that jump in jump out. Some people jump in and they stay in, but their stay is not pleasurable. They now begin to endure when they are supposed to enjoy. May the Lord give us wisdom in Jesus' name.